comes to classic role-playing games, one particular series comes to my mind, and that's the Dragon Quest series. Now this is one of the grandfathers to all the RPGs we see nowadays. This had a huge lineup of games to follow the original, and a lot of games to manipulate this style of gaming. Now, 20 years later, this game is still strong, as Square Enix brings us Dragon Quest VIII for the PlayStation 2. Now this is a great game, and it's one of my personal favorites in my gaming library. Now what I love about this game, it brings the core essentials of the classic role-playing games into a modern role-playing game for all of us to enjoy. And everything about this game is beautiful, from the artwork done by Akira Toriyama to the beautiful symphonic music played throughout the game. This is just a masterpiece. I've played many games, many RPGs, almost every single RPG you can think of, and none quite fits the classic RPG feel quite like this game right here. But enough talk about how the game is. I know what you're all here to see, and that's how the game really is.
Welcome to the world of Dragon Quest. You play the main hero. He's the typical role-playing hero where he doesn't have a name, nor does he talk. Now your whole goal in this game is to defeat the evil power that you pretty much set out adventure off for. You have to save the king and the princess from your kingdom who've been transformed to a horse and to a monster. This is your main objective throughout the most of the game, but you'll find out that it's much more than just this main objective that you have to do. As you enter the first town, your presence is a very unwelcoming one. As your king comes into the town with you, he's kind of welcomed with gasp and awe, as no one really welcomes a monster to their town. Knowing this, you know your main objective here is to find the wizard that did this to your kingdom, and this is Dolmagus. He's the evil entity in this game that you must defeat. He's the final boss, and throughout the game you follow him and try to figure out where he's going next. And you found out that more than just yourself wants to find this guy. That's how you make allies in this game, for the sole purpose of taking down Dolmagus. The most important part to an RPG has to be the battle system. Now what makes battling in this game so fun is the simplistic nature they bring into the game. You have a ton of magical abilities and skills in this game, and depending on what kind of weapon you use also determines what kind of skills you can gain. By leveling up certain weapons, you level up certain abilities and certain skills, so it's a very unique way to create your character the way you want them. Now each time you gain a level, you gain skill points. Now you must allocate the skill points to properly develop your characters and gain skills and abilities. If you're lucky enough, you can find some great abilities when you level up your points. One of my favorite one is Yangis's Golden Oldies, where Yangis calls forth all the people he knows, and they pretty much do some damage to the enemies.
Oi, Gov! It's gonna get dark if we hang about here much longer. Let's head into town. There's better places than this to spend an evening.
Now as you just saw, there's voice acting in the game, and the voice acting in this game is done really well. There's a lot of creative and unique characters in this game. Now what I love about the voice acting in this game is that every time you go to a new town or a new region, there's always a different dialect, there's always a different accent. So it's kind of unique in its own sense that they kind of have separation of different towns and language barriers.
I told you I'd take care of that.
Give me that letter!
I ordered you to keep strangers out, not to be rude.
They were stronger than we thought. We give up. Sure, it wasn't our fault, though. It was his. That's right, you honest.
Now the world of Dragon Quest VIII is huge, and it's one of those few RPGs that sticks to the world map method. Far into the game, you can get a flying bird that can pretty much transport you to anywhere in the country, much like the airship you'd see in like a Final Fantasy game. Throughout the game, you always find yourself going through dungeons and caves and always exploring something new. There's always new towns to venture to, so there's always some new adventure you always find yourself waiting every time you finish one. Such a fun and enjoyable world that any old school RPGer would really fall in love with this world. Now there's a lot of fun stuff to do in Dragon Quest VIII. And here you got a casino with many games to play. I love playing the slots game. It's a really fun game, but I always end up losing a lot of money just trying to go all in. The other game is a game of roulette. Roulette's a pretty fun game. You can always try your luck, see what you can bet on, and sometimes you can win. But most of the time you'll end up losing unless you go for a really easy one. And lastly, you got bingo. Bingo is a great game, but the only problem with it is you only have 10 rounds, so if you don't win 10 rounds, you lose. But if you do win, you win big. My absolute favorite thing to do here is go to the monster arena. This is a fun place where you can catch monsters throughout the game and battle them here at the arena. And what I love about this place is you even see a cameo from Dragon Quest IV. That's right, it's Ragnar. The monster arena itself is pretty fun. The only thing you can really do is fight and run away, but that's not really that important. What's important is trying to build the perfect team and defeating all the monsters so you can get the high prize and get all the loot. What's really cool is outside of the arena, you can actually summon your monsters and have them fight for you. So it's really cool to make the perfect team just for that method alone. And if you can find the perfect team, sometimes they can do special moves that's unique to only the 3 monsters. Like this one, it makes Mazin the ultimate golem that's pretty much ready for destruction.
Overall, this is a great role-playing game, and I really suggest this game to anyone that loves the role-playing genre. However, this game might not be for everyone. If you're really into the new games, and you can't really do the old school style, then you might not like the old school style of role-playing games, so this game might not be for you. Another thing is, there's a lot of grinding involved. You have to do some grinding just to get on to the next area just to get on with the game. So if you don't like grinding, then you might not like this game. Found out about you guys, but I think grinding's a little fun, don't you?
No, I tell you what I say, it sounds like work.
Thanks, Bob Got Goldthwait. Now, if you want to get the game, you can still find it at your local GameStops and possibly other local game stores, because they do still sell this used. Unfortunately, you can't get this new anymore, but it's still a PlayStation 2 game, so you can always keep an eye out for it. Now, what's great about this is the series itself has no linear order to it, so you can play the games in any order. There's no real ties to any of the sequels or prequels. So, if you want to start off in this game, go ahead and try it. And the game isn't too expensive. If you find it for reasonably cheap, I suggest pick it up, because it's a great game to have in your collection. If you've never played a Dragon Quest game, this is a great one to start off on. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you. Goodbye.